What's up, YouTube? TGIF here with Team Budget, coming at you with another deck profile. YouTube just messed up on me, so I'm gonna try to get through this a little bit quicker. YouTube always does this to me, I don't know why. But, sorry about the lack. I mean, obviously, we don't have that many subscribers. Nobody really is that in need of deck profiles. But if you are concerned with our lack of deck profiles, we've been finishing decks. We have not been cranking out decks. In the past, we would start a deck 1 week, finish it within 2 or 3 days, and have it be test played the next weekend, and then put a profile up on it, or finish it, test play it, blah blah blah, blah on like Dueling Network, and finish it and film a video. We decided to step up our game and go 2 to 3 decks being played, or being built at a time. So, we're finishing up, and we're going to have a big spree. This next deck that I'm about to profile here is a deck that I took to a different locals, a much more competitive locals, 3 weeks ago. Test played this. I wasn't thinking I was actually going to play Light Swarms, and then I was like, screw it. Got wrecked game 1 against the Phasian. Check out his YouTube channel. Got wrecked against his Chaos Dragons. But then I ended up coming back, top 8ing, then getting second. However, misplayed a lot. I'm gonna be honest, I should not have gotten second, but I'll take it because this tilts your opponent, throws them off their game. They don't know how to react. I'm talking about Mill Out. Not Empty Jar, because either one. Not gonna have all the different spells, but it is an Empty Jar deck. Or not an Empty Jar. Everybody calls it Empty Jar. It's a Mill Out. It is not Empty Jar. It is not to be mistaken for an Empty Jar deck. The point of this deck is to, again, cause your opponent to have no more deck. Therefore, you, by default, they lose. But there's not much else to explain except this deck is not autopilot in the least. This deck, as much as it might not seem, this deck does require a little bit of thinking and a little bit of planning ahead. Not so much thinking, but like a lot more planning ahead. So let's get started. Morphin Jar. Flip effect. Pitch your entire hand. Draw 5. Both players. Obviously. It's at 1 for a reason. It's too good. You need it to win. I couldn't win without this card, to be honest. I have won, but I don't win sets. I don't win best of 3s without at least utilizing this card in 1 game. 3 Morphin Jar number 2. This card people have a lot of questions about, and some people might say, oh, why do you do that? Flip effect. Send all monsters on either side of the field back to their respective decks. Then each player will reveal, or, like I like to call it, mill, until they get the same number of cards. They can be normal summoned as were sent back. The rest go to the graveyard. And if it's like a level 5 or something, it goes to the graveyard. Card is beautiful, throws your opponent off so bad. And I never strategy if you do net deck me or if you do ever play this card. I will tell you right now, never flip this card voluntarily unless you're playing a chaos, something weird, something weirder that you want everything going into the field. For the sheer reason is they're special and face down defense, so you can't flip them up and do anything with them until your next turn, which is good for a flip effect deck. If you're running a flip effect monster mash, run 14 monsters. 5 of these monsters I never want to hit the field face down. I will never flip this voluntarily, because either way, if I flip it voluntarily, it goes. If I set it and it gets attacked and killed, it goes to the graveyard, effect still goes off, all the opponent's monsters go. This card will only get set by itself, but I run it at 3 for the sheer fact that things will go to the graveyard with your opponent, or it'll just throw their entire game off, because it'll go back and something that they don't want will be set. I'll tell you right now, this is a game changer. This card's so crucial in any matchup. The dragon matchup, any matchup with exceeds. I played this against my friend's wind-up deck. This card sends all the exceeds back, and he just rat, hunter, shark, face down, pass turn. And he sent like 7 cards to the graveyard also. It's really good. Good at tilting your opponent, throwing them off their game. Triple Needleworm, flip effect. Your opponent mills their top 5. Beautiful synergy with where is it? Wabaku. Chain Wabaku to the attack. It still flips, just doesn't die. Book of Moon it or something. Face down next turn. Absorbing Jar. Flip effect. Destroy all set spell and traps on the field. Then each player will draw 1 for the number of cards that were destroyed on their side of the field. You run 1 because it's really good to just set, and if they attack, it dies. You pop like 2 cards, or you set like a duality or something, and then you draw a card. And they'll draw like 3. Only 1 because you don't know what they're playing. You don't want to draw into it a lot. And you can search it with Sangan. Sangan searches everything in this deck, and Sangan can double as... The reason I only run 2 of this next card, Battle Fader, is because I run the 1 Sangan. If Sangan dies, and I'm about to get OTK'd, I search this, and I stop them from OTKing me, and I attempt to pull out next turn. This combo, it's like the tour guide Sangan, but Sangan searches Battle Fader, stops OTKs, but at the same time, if I'm not getting OTK'd, I search something else. Hold on. Women, sorry, they don't understand the importance of Yugioh. Yes. Stops OTKs, yada. Lost my train of thought. Completely sorry about that. And Triple Veiler. This deck wins because it tilts your opponent, throws them off their game. People have asked me, well, do you run Veilers? I'm like, well, watch. Veiler pulls out very clutch. If you know what you're playing, the Inzektor matchup is the worst possible matchup. I get wrecked. This deck gets completely destroyed by Inzektors. This can stall out for a little bit, and then maybe I'll pull out game 1, probably not, but game 2, I side into everything I need. And then this will become a lot more consistent, and it tilts the Inzektor matchup a lot more. Either way, any cards that pop my face down cards before the flip effects go off, and any cards that the opponent crucially needs, Rabbit, Tour Guide, I'll Veiler him. Everybody else says, don't Veiler that, don't Veiler that, don't Veiler. I'll Veiler the hell out of it. That would be all of the monsters. It is 14. And you see why I never flip this voluntarily? Because I do not want these going face down, and I do not want those ever hitting the field. It's the monster lineup I would say is very consistent with getting them, but not getting dead draws as far as these go, as far as spell and traps go. Spells, 1 Book of Moon, because you can only run 1, because if you ran any more, it's broken. Flip 1 monster on the field face down. Flip this, book it. And Triple Book of Eclipse, and that is it for my books. Triple Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse says, flip all monsters on the field face down defense. During the end phase, your opponent flips all of theirs back face up and draws 1 card for each. Gives your opponent great draws, but it also resets your cards. A beautiful combo here that I'm learning here from legitimate judges at tournaments. And a few of them has told me this. We'll use the example of Needleworm, because I've used this combo right here. Have Book of Moon, or have Book of Eclipse in hand. Have this set. I know what I'm playing against. Flip this. They Veiler it. If I chain Book of Moon to the Veiler, flips, the effect goes off. Because this chain goes off before this goes off. And this goes off before this goes off. Because this is stopping this from going off until this resolves. But this hits. Veiler targets a face up. Veiler hits after the Book of Moon goes off, but this did flip and then reset itself. So if you chain one of your books, one of your 4 books, to a Veiler on your main phase, to the flip effect of a monster, the effect will still go off. You can look it up. If I'm wrong, and if the people who have told me this are wrong, please inform me, because I've been doing this play, and judges have told me at locals, the store managers and stuff, and players have told me that it is a very legal play. So it is too crucial, because flip Book of Eclipse to that Veiler, yours go face down and all theirs go face down, and they will mill, or you pitch 5 and draw. Draw power. Triple duality. Obvious. Top 3. Pick one. Can't special summon. You never special summon. Triple 1 Day of Peace. This card right here is very clutch, because both players will draw 1 card. And then there's no battle damage. The no battle damage and the fact that both players draw a card is crucial, because you want your opponent to draw 2. Triple upstart. You might think, why would you just want to draw? Well, because in this deck, it's not where both decks are being consistently milled and consistently drawed through. My opponent's deck is being consistently milled. My deck needs to be consistently drawed through. And 2 gold sarks. 2, because 3, I don't want to wait around for too many with the draw power of this deck. But for the 1-ofs and stuff, I will search them out in a heartbeat. Stall power. 2 swords. I flip mine. They're not attacking the least. The less battle damage I can take, the better. Obviously, this deck can't take damage, or you're screwed if your stuff is dying. Card destruction. Card destruction works beautifully with Morphin Jar. I've won games where I have Morphin Jar set, just this at my hand. They have no hand. Morphin Jar. Draw 5. Card destruction. You're down 10. That's been game before. Card destruction. Pitch your whole hand. Draw the same number that you pitch. Traps. Triple Obaku. Double threatening. Double gravity bomb. And a macro. The macros in here. I know you're like, dude, you have Veilers, you have Sanguine, why would you run macro? It was really the 40th card. I couldn't think of anything else to run, because Exceeds are 2. This throws your opponent off. Just essentially, that's the only reason. But if you don't know what you're playing against, then you don't activate Macrocosmos. But once you figure out, you will activate Macrocosmos, because it'll throw them off more than a Veiler will. Extra deck. I run a Yugioh Guardian. I'm trying to get a Dark Strike Fighter and a Trishulap to finish it off, because that'll make me win. Side deck. The side deck is very crucial, because siding in a lot of the times helps me win faster. It's not that, whoa, without my side deck cards I lose, but it's not like without my side deck cards I don't win faster. So, double payback we'll get to. You guys are like, what? Consecrated Light as the monsters. 1, I had 2, but I switched out for actually the double payback. Neither player can normal or special summon dark monsters. This card cannot be destroyed by battle by a dark monster. Stops dark decks. Absorbing Jar for heavily back row fit decks. Just more draw power. You know, I already explained what it does. Dark Hole for swarming decks that get really annoying. Heavy Storm and triple MST. I've gotten skill drained before. Decks that run a lot more back row than I would like them to. That back row kills this. Stopping back rows, crushing them down, wins me games. This setup right here has won me games before, siding into just that. Triple Dark Bribe. Not many people run Dark Bribe anymore for the sheer fact that hand advantage is beautiful. The quicker my opponent can draw through their deck, the better. That was my logic. It's siding into this and these works against back row heavy decks. A deck that runs skill drain rapid decks stops them all. Shadowmere. Again, dark decks. 2 more Macrocosmos. Decks that revolve around the graveyard. Double Payback. Ladies and gentlemen, Chain Burn still exists. And Chain Burn is my least favorite deck in the world to go up against. I will kill myself if I lose to Chain Burn. I finally found a card that beats Chain Burn. When you run traps, this card beats Chain Burn. If you don't run traps, you run... Again, I think everybody should have one of these. I'll read the card text to you. I won't explain it. Activate only when you take 1,000 or more damage from your opponent's card effect. Place 1 payback counter on this card for every 1,000 damage you took. During the end phase of your opponent's next turn, destroy this card. If you do, inflict 2,000 damage for each payback counter. They chain strike for 3,000. You keep this 6,000 at the end of their next step. This deck will crush Chain Burn every single time, because I've seen Chain Burns. I have this in every side deck from now on, because I've seen Chain Burns. I've seen that Chain Strike hit for a lot. I've seen Chain Strike hit for the point where hitting with this could be game. So that's my logic on that. If you have a problem with double payback, let me know, but it's one of my favorite cards, easily. But that's my mill-out deck. Sorry for the length of the video. I like to explain. But rate, like, comment, subscribe. Check out J Salvo Dad. Give him a shout out. He subscribed to me, so subscribe to him. Then subscribe to me also. Rate, like, comment, subscribe. Team Budget out.